All right. The New Zealand International Film Festival has started for us. So get ready for us to bring you some reviews. Last night was the opening night of the festival. We saw Anatomy of a Fall. It won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival earlier in May. So yeah, just before we get started, just want to thank everyone in the New Zealand film industry for helping get the program together. We've been without the film festival for a little bit with a decent lineup like this, so the program's really good. We got some good movies coming. We're looking forward to seeing them and reviewing them. But we'll kick off the review now. Nan, what do you think of Anatomy of a Fall?
I can see why it won the Palme d'Or.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the whole script played out was very fantastic. It was very dialogue heavy.
Mm-hmm.
There was barely any the dialogue in the film was fantastic, and the way the script pulls the way the script pans out is you don't know what really happened, like whether she was guilty or not,
Yep.
and whatnot. I really enjoyed the editing in this film as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the way that they intercut scenes throughout the courtroom, like how they played a statement on air rather than just listening to it. We actually saw the two characters and what was being transcribed. So I thought that was really great and good use of editing techniques as well. Performances, I don't know her name, but the main actress in it, I think she was fantastic. She definitely showed like the grieving wife and like the caring mother as well, and like her emotions of like how the lawyer was like putting her under the pump and like she wanted a crack but she couldn't, so she just kept her nerve, and like especially when there was a particular scene where the son was warned not to go in.
Yeah.
And like you can just see like every single time something was revealed about her, she just looked at her son, like just making sure that he's okay and comfortable with what was being said and whatnot.
Yep.
In regards to the son, I thought he was great for a child actor as well. It's very rare that we see good child actors nowadays, and I thought the way that he portrayed this blind kid was great. I mean, there was a scene with the dog where he was like panicking and stuff, and like you could feel that panic in him, and the way that the emotions that was going through when he was not really seeing but hearing, because he's blind, by the way. When he was hearing what his mother was going through and like all this information that was coming out about her, just his emotional performance was great, and that final scene of him, the final main scene of him where he's giving his final statement was like amazing for a kid of that age. I don't know how old he is, but he was absolutely fantastic. And like I said before, the script was great. It was not quite like 12 Angry Men, but it was very similar, how it was like all contained within, the majority of it was either contained in the house or the courtroom. And I think all the courtroom drama stuff was fantastic. Everyone in that room was great. What about you?
Yeah, no, I really did enjoy it. I thought we just watched Barbie and Oppenheimer, and we have full-time jobs, and so we kind of do like 14, 15-hour days, and we had that back-to-back, and then we had the opening night last night, so I was quite tired at the start of the movie. I was just, because I knew that I was coming up against a 2.5-hour movie that was another heavy movie, and I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. Like, I don't know if I can get through this, but the writing in this movie captivated me, and it got rid of my sleepiness for a little bit. Because once, kind of the courtroom stuff happens, I just kind of switch on, and I became very wired and very invested in terms of what was happening. I think the dialogue is absolutely incredible. Just for some context, so people know what we're talking about, the courtroom, stuff like that. Basically, a woman is accused of her husband's murder, and the only really witness is her blind son, or their blind son.
And the dog.
Sure. But yeah, no, the dialogue is extremely gripping. When you're in that courtroom, I was constantly swinging to like, oh, yep, she did it. Oh, yep, she didn't. Oh, yep, she did it. And it's not some like really like cheap tactics to try and convince you. It's really compelling stuff. And it goes into like very intricate details about these characters. And it's not like, Um, it's not so simple, and so like I love the way they did that whole courtroom side of things. Um, the performances I thought were fantastic across the board, especially the main actress. Yeah, forgot her name, but yeah, no, she's very good in this. Just there's so much to that performance, whether it's anger or sadness or grief. There's a lot, and it's quite a heavy performance. I thought she nailed it. There's one scene during an argument of hers, and she is just phenomenal. I kind of got like a little bit of goosebumps there. So prospects for best actress, I wouldn't be mad if she's in that conversation. Absolutely. Um, but yeah, I think like you said, I think the editing was a really good point because it's really well edited until it's not.
Yeah.
And I think you know where I'm going with this. So in the movie, there becomes a point where it's like, okay, the story's done, we're finished. That was good. That was really good. But it plays out for another half an hour, and it's I don't find it necessary. I don't think it added anything to the characters. I don't think it added anything to the story. I think it was just continuing it for the sake of it. And that's when I kind of went back into my sleepy trance that I was in. I was like, oh, okay, like I'm back to being sleepy. So yeah, the editing is really, really good until then. Just the way it cuts, the way it balances, tone and like where your head's at with the courtroom and all that kind of stuff. Really phenomenal stuff. I thought the visuals, underrated point of it. I love the way the camera would move through the courtroom and to like lock onto the person that's speaking and then move around. Felt so organic and really, you get a good essence of that courtroom, I guess. And the point of view shots from the son and then the mother in between like two people.
Yeah.
And she's like, and that's when you said she's like looking at them and stuff like that. I thought that stuff was like, it's just really neat. And obviously production design was really good. The way they I guess kind of set up this murder so the audience couldn't guess what was happening made it even more compelling on like what had happened, how did he die, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it plays into like a lot of different elements. But yeah, I thought it was just a really well-rounded movie. That last half an hour is where I kind of have my issues with it, but everything preceding that I think is fantastic. So yeah, this debuted at Cannes Film Festival last year. Triangle of Sadness won the Palme d'Or, and we love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nominated for Best Picture. Parasite won the Palme d'Or, nominated for Best Picture, and won Best Picture, and we loved that.
Mm-hmm.
So first question, could you say that you love this movie? And second question, would you be mad if it was nominated for Best Picture?
I wouldn't say I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. I didn't have as much enjoyment as I did with Parasite or Triangle of Sadness, but I still very much enjoyed this film.
Yep.
But I do think it should get at least an Oscar nomination because it is actually a very fantastic film.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to mention before, but there is a very lack of score in this film, pretty much close to none. And I think that just helped brought out the scenes and the acting a lot more than rather having the score play and drown out what was being said in the emotions. So I think that's another fantastic aspect of this film.
Yeah. I can't seem to find anything about the composer, so there may not be a score. There's just
I know there was a bit at the end, but throughout that film there was barely anything. It was just more soundtracks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the
barely
use,
a soundtrack.
Yeah, well, the use of music in this was really good. The way it was part of the investigation, and the height or like the level of sound, or how like loud it was to how quiet it was, and where people were. I thought that was a fantastic use of music, and for it to be 50 Cent.
PIMP.
Pardon?
PIMP.
Yeah. And then like a French drum. I thought that was a neat little touch. But going back to the Oscar prospect of this movie, I don't think I wouldn't mind a nomination, but I easily don't see it being a winner. And yeah, like you said, I don't think it's on the same tier of Triangle of Sadness or what was the other one I mentioned? Definitely not Parasite. Parasite is on like a whole another level of elite, in my opinion. But yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic. I think it's easily going to be a contender for our film festival lineup going forward. In terms of, because we're at least, we're nearly 7 months done through the year so far. Would you see this? Do you think it can make like your top 10 by the end of it? Is it that quality of a film to you?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the films this year have been pretty mid in terms of the Hollywood sort of stuff. There's only been like 3 or 4 very good ones and then 5 fillers.
It's always been around like the 6 to 7 out of 10 mark for us.
Yeah, so I think it could sneak in there. I mean, there's still a lot of film festival stuff and other surprise hits that might come across. If it's not a 10, it's very close.
Yeah. It definitely has a chance. Honorable mention. It's Nan's favorite.
I do. It's the most controversial.
Yeah, it truly is. I'm not excited for your top 10. Top 10 most anticipated. You're going to kill those movies before they even over. So, yeah. Before we cap it off, what is your score for the movie out of 10?
My score out of 10? I'll give it a good 8.
8?
8, yeah.
8? I'm going to go a touch behind you, 7.9.
Yeah. I was thinking that and I was like, oh, nah. 8.
Yeah. Yeah, it's around that kind of mark. I just find 8 and above movies just that extra little oomph to it. Yeah. Oh, we said it at the same time. Yeah. But no, I guess, yeah. Anything else you want to add for this one?
No, not really.
No. All right.
I think we covered it all pretty well. Oh, sorry. One last thing. It's not purely in French. It balances English and French. The language.
They use language really well in this too, eh? Yeah.
So that was great. I was expecting to like read for majority of this film and I didn't have to because I could just actually watch it act and understand what was being said.
Or you could learn the language before watching these movies.
Yeah, no.
Just learn all of the languages and then you won't have this issue. Then you can just sit back and watch the movie.
That's true.
Yeah. But it is hard to focus on visuals and cinematography and stuff when you have to read everything. So, yeah. I get it. We're going to have some movies in the film festival that we have to do that.
Yeah, no.
But they're still going to be great, I feel. I got a good feeling. All right. So that's going to do it for us on today's discussion of Anatomy of a Fall. Remember, it won the Palme d'Or. It definitely has a shot at the Oscars. I've seen it in the conversation already. I don't know if anyone really has the access to watch this movie just yet, but if you do get a chance to see it, be sure to come to this review. Let us know your thoughts. Drop a comment in the YouTube video or message us on Twitter at Movie Gains, and we can have a conversation about it. It is definitely one that I think people will be talking about in a couple months' time once the film festival circuit really starts to, drum up. So yeah, if you liked what you heard, follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Consider giving us a rating if you did enjoy our content. As I said before, stay connected with us on Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, drop by on moviegains.com. We do 4K movie reviews. We do box office coverage, so analysis, projections, tracking, all that kind of stuff. And of course, we do movie reviews in the written format as well. And be sure to sign up to our weekly email newsletter from the website, and then you can just stay up to date with everything that we do. Thanks again for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Keep bringing the hype. Peace.
See ya.